I've gone past beyond the issue of Endsars. It's a small issue. It's a fight that the protesters have won, but it's not the battle. We are talking about ending police brutality. Police brutality by security forces. Because it's not just police. Let's not forget what the soldiers do people on the highway and the checkpoint. They will tie your hand, even over struggle of girlfriend, they will tie your hand and put you inside the gutter. That audacity of soldiers, that audacity of police people to infringe on citizens' rights in a brutal way, tie your hand, hang you on a tree because you have a civil issue with them. That brutality is what needs to end. And let us get it very clear. Some of these officers, both in the army, both in the police, both in SARS, have gone wrong a long time ago. But let's ask ourselves, how come they went rogue a very long time ago and nothing happened? That brings me to the issue of leadership incompetence. What was the leadership of the police force doing? Why were they collecting salary? What were they going to work? What were they doing? As these complaints were coming from Nigerians. So because of the Nigerian people feel they cannot take it any longer, they have gone to the street. Suddenly President Mohammed Buhari, that used to feel like he cannot shift his gun, suddenly with the IG announces disbandment of SARS. That thing is a mere academic disbandment. The real disbandment have not happened. These people are still roaming everywhere. They are still with their weapons. And now they want to announce a new organization. Have you forgotten that this is not the first time SARS is disbanded, reformed, renamed? It used to be state SARS, later it turned to federal SARS. They have been doing all this thing. This thing keeps coming back like something with a cat with 9 lives. So they know they are not ready for the reform. They are even enjoying it, to the extent that even the counter-terrorism units are even being used for political targets like they did in Kogi. So they created all these units and they are enjoying it because, one, they make money from this thing. Not only they use them for political target. So they have desecrated the police force, especially those special units. This SARS thing is supposed to be like what you have the tactical unit in the US. So all this SWAT and so on and so forth. Now you have a group of people that feel that above the law. They will tell you, I waste you before they open fire. See, we're not supposed to forgive them. There's not supposed to be any middle ground other than you wipe that organization completely out. You establish. By now, we would have expected the IG to have paraded SARS officers who were involved in indiscriminate killing of citizens. That's what you should be doing. They are protecting them. And you want people to believe that you are ready for reform. They are not ready for reform because the IG have been there, the police commissioners have been there, the president have been there. These things have been happening. I want to ask you, what did President Mohammed Buhari do? This thing is playing to the gallery. You say you have disbanded them. You say you are going to fight to respect citizens. When did President Mohammed Buhari government start respecting citizens' rights? People are being killed and raped in Southern Kenya. They are being killed in Zamfara, the bandits. Even the government can say they cannot construct road because bandits are more powerful than their government. So at the end of the day, you can see that the police has failed in its duty. And now they are visiting so much brutality on the citizens. So they need to reform the entire police force. They need to reform the entire security agencies and stop the brutality by security forces. This brutality did not stop only with the police. It's in the army, it's in the navy. Even when you struggle girlfriend with them, navy will bring down your house. So all this nonsense has to stop. And now there must be consequences for leaders who fail to do what they are supposed to do. And I keep telling Nigerians, first of all, let me salute the protesters, especially the young men and women who, for the first time since our return to democracy, have shown that the will of the people is greater than the gun. I salute them because this is what we have been talking right from here in the CUP for the last 2 years, for the people to rise up and take their destinies in their own hands. So we are so proud of them that for the first time they have abandoned the lines of ethnicity and religion or political division and come together to say enough of this nonsense, enough of this brutality. And the ones government that feel that they are very strong, they cannot heed to people's demands, has suddenly started conceding. It means that what the people are doing is working. So it's victory for democracy, it's victory for our quest to have better system of governance. But let me come back to what I was saying before. As long as you leave President Mohammed Buhari, who was there when SARS went rogue? Who was there when the bandit took his village in Katsina? Who was there when they are killing people in Southern Kaduna in Zamfara? Who were there when SARS people, mobile police unit, ROT or whatever they call it, CTU, we are on rampage, oppressing and showing so much brutality on citizens? Once you leave the Inspector General of Police, once you leave the Chief of Army Staff that is there, that his soldiers goes to tie people's hand at the back and hang them inside a dirty gutter. Once you leave all these people and say you are reforming police, you are reforming the security, that's total nonsense. And I want to tell the protesters, you have a golden moment to solve all these issues once and for all. Do not listen to anybody. It doesn't matter what it takes. The government must commit to holistic police reform, commit to holistic reform of the security agencies. Ensure that there's an end to police and security agencies' brutality. And not only that, You count the number of people SARS have killed. I don't think they're up to 10,000. I don't think. But count the number, what the bandits have done in the last 4 years. It's almost 100,000. So why we save the few that SARS is killing? Let's remember that there's another group, that the bandits and all these other groups are killing in different parts of the country, whether in southern Kaduna, whether it's in Zamfara, whether it's in Katsina, whether it's in the forest in Niger here, whether it's in the Ogun Expressway or Kenya Expressway, that there's hundreds of thousands that have been killed in the last 3-4 years. The government must commit to ending insecurity, because under Section 14 of the Constitution, and I keep saying it all the time, the primary responsibility of government is protection of lives and property. If the president, the commander-in-chief, and his service chiefs could not protect lives and property, they said that the people who were hired to protect lives and property, like the SARS, the CTU, the army, and so on, are the ones killing citizens. The commander-in-chief has failed. The service chiefs has failed. They need to resign. And that is why I want the protesters. This is not politics. You need to, now that you have achieved, you have won the first leg of the fight, but you have not won the battle. Now we are done with the issue of the name called SARS, because I have not reformed it. Now you move to the issue of accountability. Somebody must pay for this. Somebody was there when this thing was going on. The IG did not do anything. The president did not do anything. The service did not do anything. They need to resign. And that is why I want the protesters to tailor their demand into something that will be more sustainable now that I won the first leg. And then they need to continue to remain resilient. They will do everything to divide them. They will do everything to apply sort of, kangaroo arrangement and discussions and peace meeting. They will draft all sort of documents of the lineup of how they want to reform it. This is the same people. You forgot you have the mobile police unit. Some of them went rogue. From there, you made them members of city. Some of them went to SARS. It's the same people. They have not recruited new people. It's the same people that Even the police people do the same thing. So, and I'm asking the protest, now that you have been able to, come together, despite religious or political differences, you need to sustain the protest. The whole world is watching, and if they oppress your right, the whole world is watching. The International Criminal Court is going to try a lot of them that is going to keep protesters. So you need to remain resilient. You need to remain strong to ensure that in getting police reform, and let me say it, if a man was Inspector General of Police, if a man is president, and for over 3, 4, 5 years he was in the villa sleeping, and the security forces that he's commanded was killing and raping you, and then when you protested, the man runs out from his bed and says, I will reform them. And you want to believe that man to reform what? Something that was under his control that he could not fix? So the right thing, and I keep saying it, go, let the president, made to see reason why he should resign, that he cannot do the job. Let the Inspector General of Police be held accountable for the actions of the men of the security forces under his command. And once you do all these things, you can now have the enabling ground for you to talk about reform. If the IG is there, all his CPs are there, all the Commissioner of Police of SARS of different states is there, and you're talking of nonsense reform, it will not work. It's the same people. They are sitting right with them. I passed some of them in Gusakbe. They are still in their office. So let us not be deceived that after all this whole, with the people that have died, and then we'll go back, we have not achieved anything other than the removal of the name called SARS. Nothing has been removed as I speak to you right now. And that is why the demand has to be very clear. Holistic police reform, holistic reform of the security agencies, and immediate end to brutality of the security forces, not just the police, security forces. And then for the president to end the growing insecurity that tens of thousands are dying every month in all parts of the country. These are demands that should not be negotiable. We have decided not to be in the forefront of this because let's not be accused that it is political. But as citizens of this great country, as political leaders who has the mandate to elect people into, we are telling the people that at this point we want to congratulate them for winning the first leg. But now they have to tell us their demand to achieve a sustainable gain in this struggle. And I need to tell you to understand that these things happened because you have a commander-in-chief who does not understand that his primary responsibility, as demanded by Section 14, is to protect lives and property. Who feels that he's doing Nigerian people a favor before he doesn't need to respond. You look at the time it took him. Because he saw the young people are getting more angry. That's why suddenly they started to make concession. They don't use to make concession. They use live bullet on protesters. But I have seen that if they use that live bullet further, what they will see, they will not contain it. It will consume all of them. And that is why I'm telling the young people to hold their grounds. The Constitution gives them the right to freely express their grievances. The international community, the African Charter on Human Rights, all the international charters, both the ICC charter, gives them right to do what they are doing. As long as they remain peaceful, I get to me and continue to do what they do. Everything they are doing is within the ambit of the law. And they should not allow anybody to intimidate. I had one old man that likes to rant so how much, called the Seseg or something. He's saying that if they don't go back, they'll use force. I look at such people and say, these are people that I mistakenly read his book as a law student. And they look at the kind of thing coming out from their mouth. But I tell people, ignore such people. Because these are people, no matter how bad the regime is, even if it is Mobutu Seseko's regime, there will be people like Sege and all sorts of foreign characters who will support it. But I want the protesters to remain resolute that victory is very, very near. They have won the first leg of the fight. But the battle must be won. If we do not win this battle right now, they will never win it again.